Good afternoon, welcome to the UK Column Live. It's the 3rd of April 2013. It's just gone 1 o'clock. Myself and Mike Robinson are here in Plymouth and Mr Garish is off out for the day. Good afternoon, Mike.
Afternoon.
Are you doing the weather or should I do the weather?
Go ahead.
It's sunny but cold here in Plymouth. Not sure what it's like in the rest of the country, but here there is a bit of a breeze. Can't tell you what way it's going, but it's warm and cold.
It's
Mike.
warm and cold.
It's warm. No, it's sunny and cold. Mike,
Good one.
Start.
Right.
Thank
okay.
you.
Well, naturally enough, we're starting with Lord Hall. I'm just wondering from this photograph, who he thinks he is? Does he think he's Pope, perhaps?
Maybe.
Don't know. But anyway, he says he's going to cut the size of the payoffs handed out to senior staff whenever they commit misdemeanours and have to be compromised off.
Okay.
No doubt with a gagging order, which seems to be the order of the day at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But of course, Lord Hall also says that he absolutely knew nothing about Jimmy Savile, but the BBC has learned all the lessons that it needs to learn.
Okay.
It's saying that they will be implementing all the recommendations of the Pollard cover-up, and that, in fact, it'll be implementing recommendations of 2 other cover-ups that the BBC has.
Just 2?
Just 2 others,
okay.
yeah. So hopefully in the not too distant future we'll see major changes at the BBC as Lord Hall keep things going exactly as they have been.
So I won't hold my breath for any changes.
Indeed. Okay. Right, we're going to move on to vaccines because I came across this via Christina England. Excuse me, and it seems that Vietnam has recalled Quinvaxim, another batch of Quinvaxim after another baby has died. This is the 2nd death as a direct result of this vaccine since November, and 5 overall in Vietnam, and I believe that the number is approaching 30 in the countries that actually use this vaccine.
Is there any mention of the Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda?
No, there isn't.
They're not promoting it? No.
Okay. But this vaccine is being promoted because it's a lot cheaper than other alternatives.
Of course.
Well, sorry, excuse me. The problem with this is that, as the British Medical Journal reported, this problem has been known about since 2010. And so you've got to ask the question, why is anybody still suffering as a result of this particular vaccine? Apparently the vaccine causes problems such as fevers, vomiting, bruises all over their bodies.
Oh my God.
It's supposed to vaccinate against diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B, and Haemophilus influenzae type B. It's a 5-in-1.
5-in-1. Going into what age group? Do we know?
Well, babies.
Disgusting.
So, anyway.
Disgusting.
Okay. This is yours.
This is me.
£14 million bill for gagging axed public officials.
Yeah. Well, this has come after the government banned gagging orders for the NHS, who hiked up £18 million worth on silencing 600 members of staff. But in Whitehall, more than 200 civil servants and officials have signed compromise agreements in the past 2 years at a total cost to us of £14 million. And the highest one so far has been the former chief exec of the Serious Fraud Office, who left voluntarily, but she received $462,000 and is thought to have signed a confidentiality agreement. Local authorities have signed 4,562 compromise agreements with former staff, most of them again containing confidentiality clauses. The Treasury has signed 64 individuals at a cost of £2.5 million. Department of Transport 40 agreements. Department of Energy up to £1.5 million in gagging order, and the list is endless. Hove City Council, apparently, with regards to local authorities, have signed the most, 123 agreements. And as I say, the list is endless, with majority of county councils having paid off somebody to keep them quiet. Shocking.
I mean, for anybody that doesn't know what a compromise agreement is, basically you're getting sacked. And generally, whenever you see the official statement, it'll say something like, so-and-so left this organisation by mutual consent.
Yeah.
And in order to make sure that there's no bad press or bad publicity for the organisation concerned, they give you a nice payoff on condition well, the
Keep your
conditions.
mouth shut.
There's effectively a contract put in place, and inevitably you go off and see an employment lawyer to get some advice
Yeah.
on it. But
Shocking.
yes. But in the meantime, the scandals within the National Health Service continue. And the Daily Mail actually seems to be
Yeah.
congratulating themselves that they seems to have solved this particular problem.
Well, no, I wouldn't say so much solved. The Daily Mail have put here the death pathway bribes will be scrapped, and they've put cash bribes to hospital. Will be put an end, and this is what families have been told. But in literally the next line,
Sorry, that's.
have you got
apology,
it up there?
yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
In the next line, it's come out with NHS payments, which amount to at least 30 million, are likely to be stopped later this year. So, are they being stopped or not? According to the Mail, the families of patients who've been put on these pathways have been told they've stopped. But a hospital in Blackpool last year paid £450,000 in return for ensuring 35% of patients who die in hospital were on the Liverpool care pathway.
Right.
So whether they've stopped or not, or it's just the Mail getting confused, I have no idea. So I think a little bit more investigation is needed.
I mean, surely paying somebody to kill somebody, that goes a bit beyond.
Yeah, assassination, maybe. Shocking.
Okay.
Where are we going now?
Well, we're going to more corruption because when the new police and crime commissioner roles were announced, it seemed to me anyway that perhaps this was jobs for the boys, plenty of opportunity for corruption, some nice fat paychecks for people, and so it seems to be the case.
Okay.
So yesterday in the West Sussex Gazette we have this situation where the new police and crime commissioner is now hiring a whole bunch of staff on really huge salaries. So her chief executive, she's expecting to pay
82, is it?
£82,000. And chief finance officer, £77,000. Then we've got, Mrs. Bourne herself is on £85,000 and her deputy will be on £45,000. So just as expected, a fantastic opportunity for them to.
That's incredible, especially with a story that's coming up in a minute as well.
But of course, it's not just public servants of this level that are getting these big payoffs, is it?
No, it's not. I couldn't believe this. She needs an extra 5 million from us, bless her. And the running costs for the running costs of the Queen's household, it's been set at 36.1 million for this forthcoming financial year. Figures increase from 31 million allocated during the previous 12 months, which included an extra 1 million to cover the extra cost of the Diamond Jubilee. So we're not having a Jubilee this year. There's no Jubilee, but we'll give an extra 5 million anyway. It covers maintenance, apparently, of the royal palaces and the cost of royal travel for official engagement in the UK. Around 10 million is spent on the salaries of the Queen's staff, from footmen to chefs in the royal kitchen. Interesting, though, we did cover a story about 6 months ago where the Queen's staff, cleaning staff, etc., were being paid the minimum wage. So that's interesting. I hope they get a pay rise.
Well, I mean, while we're seeing the continuing rise of pay at the top of society, of course, at the bottom end, we're having more and more cuts. So, no mansion tax for the top earners, but we got a bedroom tax for the people earning nothing. Well, Osborne's basically squirming under the weight of the criticism that we're all giving, really. Of course, Labour are playing the game and pretending to criticise, but that's just a play act. But of course, they're not just stopping at benefits, are they?
They're cutting the minimum. They're looking to cut the minimum wage now, and it's part of efforts to reinvigorate the economy. The Prime Minister's spokesman said this morning. But certain members of the cabinet have long demanded a cut to the minimum wage to encourage small and medium-sized businesses to employ more staff and boost profits. It's disgusting.
Well,
really, isn't it?
Well, while so pay rises for certain people, pay cuts for other people, but of course every single one of us is getting a pay cut because inflation continues to rise. So now we're seeing non-food prices starting to rise as well. Now the Telegraph is saying that this is great for the high street because it means that they're not having to cut their prices so much. But of course, it's not good for the high street at all, because in fact, it's a reflection of input costs for manufacturers, continuing rising fixed costs for retailers,
Yep.
the cost of delivery and production.
High streets are empty now anyway.
This is going to be further disaster
Of course
for
it is.
people that have no money, can't afford to spend it in the high street. High street is going to continue to shut down.
Yeah.
And of course, the agenda is to continue to try and get some kind of violence on the streets. And of course, in order to get violence on the streets, you got to get the people out.
Yep.
So the unions are considering getting the people out through a general strike, the first general strike since 1926, and a super strike apparently in protest at the government cuts. Well, you know, yeah, people out on the streets, get the police out on the streets. Let's get some
Of course.
trouble.
And all these unison and all of these is big. What are they called?
Well, the union leaders
unions are
themselves
just-
are fat
course,
cats. They're
exactly,
getting their big
exactly.
salaries, so
Disgusting.
they're doing the job.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, and of course the corruption goes to the utilities companies as well. So not just the banks. We've got SSE now, utilities giant SSE fined £10.5 million by Ofgem for prolonged and extensive mis-selling, so this is apparently the largest ever penalty imposed on an energy provider.
And it's really going to affect them, isn't it?
Well,
The business.
exactly. Their huge multi-billion
Exactly.
pound profits are really going to suffer from a £10 million fine. But of course, they'll just add that to prices for the
Exactly, of course they will.
next round of bills. SSE provided apparently misleading and unsubstantiated statements to potential customers about prices and savings that could be made by switching to SSE. Well, it's a cartel. It doesn't matter who you switch to.
No.
It's a cartel. Let's just well, I don't know whether renationalisation is the solution to this, but the fact of the matter is that these people are asset stripping us. They're not investing in our infrastructure, and they're profiteering.
The state of the roads as well at the moment is just shocking.
Well, of course, they're continuing to talk about toll roads. They're getting us used to that
Yeah.
idea. Okay, economic news abroad then. The IMF is heading off to Cairo later on for talks on a just shy of $5 billion loan. Now, we know what the IMF does to countries that borrow money from it. This is really what the so-called Arab Spring was about
Yep.
the regime change in the Middle East, is about getting the IMF in there, getting big banking
Of course.
cartel money in there. Another entire population to asset strip. And speaking of asset stripping, of course, Cyprus continues, and we've got a new foreign minister in Cyprus because the last one felt so embarrassed about what he had done that he felt the need to resign. And their new one is Haris Georgiades. Apologies, I'm struggling very much with Cypriot names. I do apologise for it. And he is a Reading University graduate, and really, I guess, a banker.
Yeah.
But he's going to be the finance minister, and we'll see what happens to Cyprus next. Now, of course, what happens in Cyprus, or what has happened in Cyprus, there's been a lot of discussion about whether or not that's something that's going to be rolled out right across Europe. And in fact, there is a clue that perhaps the central banking system as a whole has been planning for this for some time. Because what we have here is the open bank, a primer on the open bank resolution, which is a document published, well, it says, just highlight that section there. I'm sorry, I can't actually. Can you read that?
I can't see that with my eyes.
Well, basically, who published this? It was published in 2011 by the New Zealand Central Bank. And what's quite interesting about it is the procedure that is followed whenever a bank fails. And this gives a clue as to what happens. Basically, bank accounts get frozen. Now, what's quite interesting about this particular document is it describes bank customers as unsecured creditors.
Oh, right, okay.
So basically, this is the impact of the process. Now, remember, this is a process that they are implementing. This is the OBR process. Basically, your bank is toddling along quite happily there. It's got a big blue box there that says total assets. But if the bank fails, we find that the amount of total assets that it has shrinks significantly as they estimate the quantity of the losses that the bank has suffered.
Yeah.
And of course, who suffers directly as a result of that? Well, shareholder funds go first, but unsecured creditors, that's
Us.
the investors.
Oh, the investor. Okay.
Sorry, yes, investors in the sense of customers
okay.
in the
That's
sense of
us.
savings and
Yeah.
current accounts. We are unsecured creditors. We lose as well. This is a well documented policy of one central bank. Is it likely that the other central banks haven't implemented similar?
Definitely.
So
Somebody's actually asking, Mike, can we get that on the website so somebody can get a copy of this document?
absolutely, I can
It'll
put
be
that.
up.
Absolutely, I can
Yeah,
put that up
yeah,
with the.
it'll be up there on the website
It will be up there. It's an interesting read. So.
when you can read it.
Well, actually, yes. The first section was pointing out that it has been implemented already. It's in the process of being
Okay.
implemented. So the point is, the banks have been thinking about this for quite some time. They intend to asset strip all of us. Anybody that leaves their money in the bank at this particular point perhaps isn't doing the right thing.
Definitely not. If you've got it, get it out.
Okay, Ian Duncan Smith.
Oh, lovely man.
Yes, he is a lovely man, isn't he? He's very well bred. But anyway, he obviously, made the claim that he could live on £53 a week, and
Do it.
well, that's exactly what people are suggesting that he does, because of course the next thing that happened was that somebody put up a petition to
Yeah.
ask him to do exactly that. Now he's calling this petition a complete stunt. Well, he's saying this is a complete stunt which distracts attention away from the welfare reforms which are much more important and which I've been working hard to get done. He says that he's been unemployed twice in his life, so he's already done it.
What?
He says he's been unemployed twice in his life,
Oh,
and so he has already
please.
done it. Anyway, for anybody that wants to join the 360,000 or so people that have already signed this petition, there's the
website.
link. Have a look at that. Go and sign up. Have you signed?
Not yet, but I'm going to go and do it straight away. And people in the chat room have, though, so well done, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you signed it yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I better go do that straight after then.
Let's just understand what this
Yes,
attack
let's.
on benefits is about. It's about breaking up.
class.
It's about causing angst and anger amongst various people within the population. And what this article seems to be saying is that we are no longer just
No.
a working class, a middle class, and a
We have a deprived and precariat class as well, apparently.
really.
Yeah. It's assessing income, savings, house value and social capital, the number and status of people that someone knows. Research, interestingly, was carried out by the London School of Economics, University of Manchester, with the help of the BBC.
Of course.
Of course.
Who else?
Yes. So pushing the old agenda nice. As usual. BBC, well done. Where now? Are we going?
We're going to Obama, because Obama has just pushed through a nice new piece of legislation, HR 933, and part of that is included what is known as the Monsanto. Well, it's a gift to Monsanto, really.
Of course
because,
it is.
So
No one can take them to court or anything. It's got a Protection Act over them, so they can go and do what they're doing and just get away with it.
Right. So food and public safety advocates and independent farmers are pretty angry that Obama has signed this, despite they've been complaining because it includes language that they consider to be a gift to Monsanto and other firms that produce genetically modified crops and seeds, and they had a petition. The petition said this provision is simply an industry ploy to continue to sell genetically engineered seeds, even when a court of law has found they were approved by the USDA illegally. So what the petition is suggesting is that the USDA approved the use of these seeds and crops illegally, and it sort of has shades of another Monsanto product, aspartame, doesn't it?
Yep. Definitely.
So anyway, this has gone through. At least one senator has at least had the the guts to apologise for what happened, basically saying that this clause was kind of snuck in through the back door, really within. And this is actually how the Bank of England was established.
Of course it was, yeah.
One little clause inside a Tonnage Act, hidden down the bottom somewhere.
Yeah.
Exactly the kind of thing.
Did he sign it at sort of a midnight or over a bank holiday?
Well, no, it's not that.
Usual time.
It's not that. But what we should say about this, actually, because although ultimately it has failed in one sense, in the sense that the bill was signed,
Yeah.
nonetheless, this story would not have seen the light of day if it wasn't for the alternative news media,
Yeah, true.
right? Okay, the mainstream media was keeping a lid on this completely,
Yeah.
and it was the alternative media that actually brought it out to the point that the mainstream media then had to cover it.
Yeah.
And so, although at the end of the day, as usual, Obama has stuck his fingers up at people's wishes, nonetheless,
It wouldn't have been out there. No one would know about it.
nobody would know about it
No.
if it wasn't for
I think Natural News were quite behind it as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay, moving on then. Global warming in action, as we can see. Just wanted to make the point, it's not just Europe, or at least Northern Europe, which is experiencing these record low temperatures. People are talking about it right around the world,
Yeah.
even in Honolulu, where they're having to put jumpers on.
Goodness.
So
I'm just waiting for the hosepipe ban now. That's what we've got to look forward to. I'd say any day now. Sun's come out, but get the hosepipe ban on.
okay,
Okay,
No
now
doubt.
where are we going?
well, we're going to you.
We're going to me. Apparently, Israel last night launched an airstrike on Gaza, which is the first attack since the ceasefire ended in November. Apparently, there were no injuries reported. According to Haaretz, the newspaper, the strikes hit near the northern Gazan town of Beit Lahia. I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. 2 mortar shells were fired from Gaza towards Negev earlier that day also. Israeli Defence Forces confirmed that they had launched an airstrike on a Gazan target. And the US military then initially claimed that only one projectile had landed in Israel, but later issued a statement saying nothing had landed. So who knows what's coming out of Israel, but something did hit Gaza yesterday and overnight.
Okay, this is Australia. Is this to do with the church?
This is to do with the church. They are setting up a committee to investigate there's apparently 5,000 people are going to give evidence to testify. Anyone who is, they have to go out and testify. They're compelled to do it, and they risk imprisonment if they say any lies. And 5,000 say they're going to be given evidence. The Prime Minister of Australia, Julia Gillard, announced that the Commission in November, in the farce of a string of sexual abuse accusations against priests and claims of a Roman Catholic Church cover-up. More than 6,000 people apparently have been contacted by staff in writing and phone, and they're going to start interviewing straight away.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty staggering, the breadth of this scandal.
Of course,
right
but it's
around
not
the
surprising,
planet.
is it?
Not really surprising
At all.
RT finally catching up on something here.
The production of heroin has increased 40 times since NATO began the war on terror back in 2001. And apparently 1 million people have actually died from the Afghan heroin since 2001. Just before the invasion, and interestingly, the Taliban had implemented a ban on poppy growing, declaring it would be anti-Islam. But of course, as soon as the war on terror, started by horrible people, it's now booming. It's absolutely flourishing, and 90% it's up over there. The country is producing 90% up on what it was. 15% of Afghan's gross national product depends on the heroin exports, which amounts business worth of $2.4 billion, according to the United Nations.
Yeah, I mean, this is an issue that I've been talking about for a long time. In fact, since quite a number of years before I came and worked for the UK column. So this is an article from 2000, well, in fact, almost just over 2 years ago. The fact of the matter is, as you pointed out a second or two ago, the Taliban did stop the poppy production.
Yeah.
But the opium production has been essential for the financial system to try and keep it afloat for quite some time now. We see the money laundering allegations against HSBC. This is the thin end of the wedge, really. HSBC has been money laundering for decades, and they're particularly laundering drugs money. That's well established. You know, NATO moved in, Britain moved into, and particularly Helmand Province is the main growing area for opium, and we've been supporting that production since we went there in 2001.
It'd be interesting to know some troops, you know, who have been over there and their thoughts on it.
Well, we have spoken to many over the last couple of years who do, and they do understand that is part of what's going on over there. They're not allowed to touch the poppy crops. They understand that, and
they must guard them with their lives.
Sadly, that is the case, and that is the point of this article that as I say, I wrote in February 2011. I suggest people have a read at that.
Go and have a look.
And that's us for we actually.
It is. We've flown through that today, haven't we? No technical issues. Mr. Garish will be very pleased. We're back tomorrow at 1 o'clock with the 2-hour show. As always, if you're liking what we're doing, please subscribe, tell your friends to the ukcolumn.org. And thanks for joining us.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.